Hey guys, welcome to this video and my channel. My name is Heather. I am the owner and creator here at Wicked Whiskey Designs, and today we are working on all of this madness. How freaking pretty is that? This looks so complex, so elaborate, so extra. It's really not. It's very easy. You're layering a couple of techniques and you are honestly rewarded for your hard work because this is an absolutely stunning cup. All of the products that I use to make this cup are linked in the description box below. So if you are looking to make this exact cup, these colors, everything you need is down in the description box. Even a coupon code or two down there to hopefully save you a little bit of money. If you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. This is still a relatively new channel. I am trying to put content out twice a week. Sometimes my schedule gets a little wonky and doesn't let me do that. So definitely like and subscribe, and that way you'll get notified whenever these videos do drop. And don't leave the video without checking out the tips and tricks section. That's where I share with you all of the tips and tricks I learned along the way to make this cup as easy and as perfect as possible the first time around. I think that pretty much wraps up this intro. Let's go ahead and get started, show you everything you need to make this cup. Let's go have some fun. Good morning, y'all. What are we doing today? Let me tell you about my morning so far, okay? My oldest dog is 14 years old, okay? Her name is Haley. So you can put the face to the name. This is Haley. Haley has doggy dementia. She lives by her own rules, her own schedule. We're at that stage of life where mommy just does whatever Haley wants. You know that whole thing where we do not negotiate with those who incite terror. We're not going to say the actual word because my video will get banned or flagged or something. Well, those rules are completely out the window because she is a little manipulating she who incites terror, and mommy gives in all the time anyway. So here I am at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you know, Haley is barking. We have to go outside now. Now, I'm self-employed. I have been for years. I don't own an alarm clock. I don't get up anywhere near 5 o'clock in the morning, and because I don't have just one dog, I have four, because one has to go outside at 5 in the morning. We all got to go outside at 5 in the morning. So here I am standing on my back, you know, my back area here, my backyard, wondering if this is the day where, you know, there's a serial killer in my backyard at 5 in the morning. And the cup I was going to do this week for this video, all of a sudden I was like, oh no, I know what we're going to do instead. My last video was a beach tumbler. I was going to do like more of like an elaborate beach tumbler for this video. And instead, there is a technique that I've seen done, and it's on my list to do. I just never could put the colors together and the patterns and whatnot together like I wanted. And so it just kind of stayed on the list. And here I am, 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting to get, you know, axed in my backyard randomly. It all kind of came together. So when people ask, like, where do you get your inspiration? Apparently, 5 a.m. rendezvous with serial killers thanks to my 14-year-old dementia dog. I don't know. That's what we're doing today. I haven't had a lot of coffee yet, so let's roll with me, okay? What we're going to do is this. I love, love, love the look of the cups that you'll see them. They have glitter, they have like organic looking like paint strokes. There is some foil on them. They look awesome. And the colors that I was putting together in my brain initially was just, they were fine, but not where we're going today. So we are going to do a gold and brown base. We are going to do a black paint whooshy effect, technical term. We're going to bring in some leopard print foil because it's been way too long since I've added leopard print to something, and it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Now, the kicker of that is this. What? Okay. Stanley and Stanley dupes. I am not going to spend the money on a Stanley. Those who do, God bless you. I totally get it. It's along the lines of people who, you know, also want to spend the money on a real Yeti. No shade, you do you. I am not going to do that. I know the minute I spend an enormous amount of money on a cup, it's going to get dropped before I even get it home. okay? It's going to get dropped, dented in 17 ways, and run over by a car driving by. So I don't spend the money on those, but I'm totally cool with working on a Stanley dupe, which is what this is. I was very anti-Stanley. I got to be honest. I was like, I am not working on those. Those are going to be a nightmare, blah, 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 blah. Let me talk to you about that. My experience in two factions of this. Number one, I used to do for a time about that big, 40-ounce block tumblers. So imagine this, if you will, without the handle. They were a nightmare. They didn't fit on my normal cup insert. What I did find, they kept falling off, or they, you know, they'd slide off when you tried to epoxy them. They were a nightmare, and I hated them. So I had them in the store for approximately 4 seconds, and I said, not doing that. It's not worth my energy. The second thing I hate are handle cups. You know, I have certain customers that come back to me every year and want their cups for their new summer vacation. And I have a couple customers that always want a handle cup, and I will do that for them. And if somebody, you know, reached out and like begged, maybe I would consider doing that. Another thing that I carried in the store for about that long, because if you've worked on handle cups, you know how problematic they can be. They can be, those edges are hard to always get smooth. You know what I mean? They're kind of, if you don't know how to work them, they're kind of a pain. So again, not always worth my time. So when Stanley's came out, I was like, not even entertaining the thought. Here I am entertaining the thought. If you sell on a particular marketplace platform, and when I say that, I mean it can be Etsy, it can be Amazon, it can be Go Imagine, it can be, okay, Michael's has its own marketplace now, anything. You also, if you are selling, even if you are hardcore with your thought process on what you're going to offer in your store, it's always smart to also look out and see what other people are selling. I'm not saying that for like, let me go see what colors they're using, I'm going to do the same thing. No. What I'm saying is cup sizes, styles, ideas. You know what I mean? You really just want to be able to go ahead and stay competitive. And of course, I knew the Stanleys exploded. All right, then the Stanleys really exploded, and I knew everybody was doing them. But again, I wasn't interested in getting involved with that. I'm not trying to join that party. When I did go out, you know, I sell on Etsy. I have my own website. When I did go out on Etsy and I looked, there's a lot of people who are doing Stanleys. And it doesn't need to be as complicated, you know, as some are making it. There are very simple designs. There's very elaborate designs. There are a lot. And, you know, it's one of those things that I kind of had to stop and be like, okay, you are feeling a certain way about this, but you haven't done one. Maybe it won't be horrible. You know, it's something, I've had a lot of customers ask about that. Maybe it's something to, you know, throw 1 or 2 up in the store. So I did one. It was the easiest freaking cup I've ever done in my life. I did a cup like this. I did like my salty, you know, my salty beach tumbler style on there. Made a couple changes to the colors, to the glitter, whatever. I love it. I love it. I stole it. I'm like, I just asked my husband, I'm like, when you get a minute, can you clean that for me? I'll hydrate. I'll use it for a water cup because, you know, I don't hydrate. Wink, wink. So I officially have my first Stanley. Who knew? The handles are glorious. They're awesome because they're not hard edged. And this, for whatever reason, it's a little bit thinner than the block ones. The block ones went more at, like the top went more at an angle, or I should say it kind of triangled down a bit. These are glorious. They fit on the spinner. They don't move. The handle is nice. Now, the thing is this is pink. So we're gonna change that, okay? You also have the ability to order ones where the handles come off. They're removable, to where you can glitter all of this and this would stay, you know, spongy and cushy and whatnot. I opted not to go in that direction for a couple of reasons. Number one, I ordered these as a let's give it a try. I ordered 3 of them. In, I think 2 in pink and 1 in green, but I guess I'm doing one for my husband now in black or something, whatever. So we'll save that one for him. So the thing is this, like I said, you can purchase the ones where the handles are removable. I didn't want to go that route because I know me, and I know I'm going to somehow get epoxy on something, and now we have to tape something, and I have to be careful of something, and I just didn't want to do that. Not to mention too, I feel like if you do that, I don't want to say you, me. I feel like if I offer that as an option for my customers, it is inevitable at some point you know, Mary puts an order in and she wants a pink tumbler for her friend. So I order the one with the pink removable handle. And then she messages me a week later and says, oh, I made a mistake. Pink isn't her favorite color. Pink's the color she hates. Can we do a blue one instead? Well, here I am with a pink handle. So now either I need to go, and I think they sell them separately. Now I have to go and purchase a blue handle, wait for it to arrive, pay extra shipping. If you can't buy the handle by yourself, now I've got to order a blue cup by itself. You know, now is the blue going to match the glitter I'm going to use, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not doing all of that because I am that person that will do that. I will completely eat that cost and then I'm out that and now I'm grouchy about it and whatever. So we are not going to do that. We're going to stick with our handles attached. We're going to glitter our handles so it would be fabulous like the rest of the cup. We are going to make this beautiful and not pink. So the first thing we're going to do, we are going to tape this stainless steel rim off, okay? We are going to spray paint this white, including the little, you know, these are foamy. They're not horribly squishy though, but you can tell they're foamy. We are going to spray the whole thing white to bring it to a natural, normal, you know, white base. When that dries, we are then going to go ahead and spray it either all gold or golden brown. I got to be honest, I don't know that I have brown spray paint because this idea just kind of was a 5 a.m. thing. If not, then we'll just do the whole thing, you know, we'll do the whole thing gold. Maybe. I don't know. I'll find out what I have. And then we're going to glitter and we're going to move forward. It's going to be lovely. So this is what we're working on today. Absolutely nothing that looks like this. Yay. Welcome to my day. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to sand this down. This is powder coated. You can, I had trouble finding them, but I know that other people have found them. So maybe the ones that they're finding are the ones that have the removable handle, which I don't really want to do, but I'm totally okay with using this. If I, you know, when using a cup that's already got a coating on there, you just have to sand it down really well, wipe off all the excess sanding dust, and then, you know, you should be fine. There are some people who don't want to use something that's powder coated as their base. I totally get that. That's totally up to you. You know, this is something that I'm going to continue to try to hunt for cups that maybe will work as far as not having a powder coated body. But again, I run into the handle situation. So, you know, for the intents and purposes of this tutorial, we're going to roll with this because it's fine too. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sand down this entire thing. I am going to also sand down this rim, and then we're going to, like I said, wipe it down. We're going to go ahead and tape this rim off, and we're going to spray paint, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay, we have it wiped down. We have it sanded. I have 1-inch painter's tape. If you're not familiar what painter's tape is, it's what painters use to, you know, cover your base, you know, protect your baseboards and corners and things of that nature. It's not as sticky as regular paint. So masking tape and such, with it not being as sticky, it doesn't leave the residue behind, and it's very easy to work with. So we are going to go ahead and, should I come on this side? Probably. Where am I at? There we are. We're going to go ahead and just run that paint right around that rim as even as you can. That's it. Okay. And then just kind of tuck that in and you're good to go. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to spray paint this whole thing white. I figured you didn't need to watch me spray paint a cup white. So it is white. This doesn't need to be the most perfect spray paint job, okay? Like if you see like you got a little section that's a little lighter, you don't feel like, oh, I need to go put a second coat on. No, you don't. This is basically just to bring the cup to a blank canvas state. You see here, I also did the inside of the handle, on the bottom, on the top, all that. So we're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on, repaint it, and then we're gonna start glittering. You know what's helpful when making a video? Hitting the record button. Sorry. I thought we were doing spray painting. I thought we were recording spray painting. We did not. I am sorry. To recap, we did gold metallic, espresso brown. Now, I did not think I had an espresso brown because I don't remember ever doing a cup that would require brown. And, you know, as you can see, I have a ton of spray paints. Found it. If you don't have it, you don't have to go buy it. Not to do this itty bitty little strip of this. If you don't have it, just use gold, okay? Know that you're probably going to potentially have to go over that section with your glitter more than once, but honestly, we probably are going to be doing it twice anyway. So, like I said, if you don't want to spend the money, don't worry about it. And sorry, this is what it looks like. Yay. Okay, so now that your cup is sanded and painted, you're going to go ahead and start glittering. I had to fast forward through some of these parts because honestly, there was so many different steps that this video was going to be 2 hours long. So initially I wasn't trying to fast forward through the glittering, but it had to be done. I am using Cleopatra, which is the gold, Hamilton, which is that orange color, and then Cold Brew, which is the brown, all by Peachy Olive Glitters. I am going ahead and starting with the gold. I'm going from the bottom up and the top down about 1/3 of the way each direction, and then I'm adding the Hamilton and then finally the Cold Brew in the middle. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get this spinning. Before we do that, before you even go and start mixing your epoxy, do yourself one favor. Keep in mind, now once you've spray painted this, you've glittered this, it's real easy to forget that you have a tape line right here. So before you go and start epoxying, make sure you give yourself a little bit of a tail. I hope this is on camera, I can't really see. Give yourself a little bit of tail. So once you epoxy, you can pull this and take that tape line off instead of being like, oh shoot, and trying to like dig it out from inside, and you know, it's a mess. And if you've ever accidentally done that, you know what a mess it is. So like I said, hedge your bets and do yourself a favor and have a little ripcord ready to go. Okay, something else to keep in mind when you're setting your cup up to spin, this handle. I set this up on my favorite spinner that I always use for these videos. That spinner sits right next to the foot, right next to the end of the spinner, so I have a place to attach the rod for the camera and all that. And I didn't even think about the handle running into that foot, and it sure did. So keep in mind, when you're running these big cups with these big handles, make sure you've got enough real estate to do that. Next, go ahead and mix up your epoxy. I think I used approximately 40 mLs because this is a pretty big cup. I went pretty heavy with the epoxy, and just take time to really go around that handle. You want to make sure that you cover that handle as well as you can, and don't forget to blow out your micro bubbles. Okay, so now we're going to take this off. Go slow, pull towards you a little bit so it doesn't rip the other way, and just let that go. And the next run of epoxy that we do, we're going to go over that stainless, but we don't want to do it on the first run so that, you know, glitter can get up in that stainless area. We want to keep that clean. Okay, so this is where she's at after 2 runs of epoxy. How freaking pretty is she? She's gorgeous. So what we're going to do next is this. I want to dry brush black paint on her. Not full coverage by any means, just enough to where there's going to be little sections, little, I don't want to say splotches, but strokes of black paint. And it's going to make it so dramatic looking. And then, you know, then I was like, hey, what if we add a little bit of gold? Now, I also know that after this, my next step is going to be adding kind of like a goldy, not crazy gold, almost like a muted, it's like a leopard pattern. It's gonna be pretty, she thinks. I think it's gonna be pretty. But I was like, I want also like a little something. We need a little something. We need a little something on the outside too. So I was like, what if I do a little bit of gold? Like gold. Okay, well, obviously we're doing this on the fly as per usual. So what do I have in my little kingdom here that we can use? And I was like, what about like a gold paint pen? And I was like, no, that's going to be a little too structured, a little too, here's a line. You know what I mean? It's going to be a little too not organic, you know? It's just going to be very, very tight. And then I was like, okay, what about paint? And I was like, do I have paint? So I went through all my little collection, and I do. I've got metallic gold paint. But then I'm like, what it's going to look like is kind of like streachy, kind of like screech. I have not had coffee. I'm sorry. But then I was like, it's going to look like kind of like a little streaky, you know, with like metallic paints especially. You usually need to have 2 coats on them. And I was like, I feel like we're getting into kind of a weird area now. I don't think it's going to give me what I want. I don't think it's going to you know, be as prominent as I want. It's going to be kind of weird. I don't think I want to do that. Then, because once upon a time, I would come up with these, this is when I was brand new, okay? This is when I first got my feet under me, and I was like, we're going to take on the world, and we are going to create something magical every single day. And I literally would get like these ideas, and I'd buy all this stuff for it. And then and the next day I have a brand new idea, and I'd buy all the stuff for it. And then the third day, and rinse and repeat, okay? And I think I was at that stage where I could, I don't know, maybe ombre 2 colors together. Okay. Ambitious, very ambitious. Ambitious enough to where I never actually did half the projects I thought of. And in all of that, I bought foil, okay? I had silver, I had gold, I had copper. Okay, I've had them all. Never did one thing with them. I don't know what happened to the gold. I was looking for the gold. I think the gold somehow fell by the wayside, or my husband stole it for something he was doing, or I don't know, I probably just got like pissed off and threw it out. I don't know. But I have copper. And tell me that's not going to look awesome. Yes, it is. So what I think we're going to do, still a little nervous about it. I don't know. But honestly, if it doesn't work, what's the golden rule of our lives is that, you know, you can hide a Buick under black paint and epoxy. So if it doesn't look good, then we're just simply going to add black paint over it. Nobody will even know it's there. But I'm kind of thinking, I think this might be something. So we're going to go try that. Okay. We have our cup. We have a little pool of black craft paint. I am using Apple Barrel Black. Where's my little thing? Apple Barrel Black. I have my old paintbrush that has been used and abused with tons of love. We are going to go ahead. I rinsed it off because, you know, I wanted to make sure there was like no dust or anything weird. I am drying it off as much as I possibly can, so it's as dry as we're going to get. Now, the one thing we are going to do is this. We are going to retape our rim there, okay? We don't want to go above and beyond and get our black paint and all that on this rim. So, it doesn't need to be perfect, but we're just going to protect it a little bit. All right, so I feel like we're ready. We're going to get just a tiny little bit of the black paint. Can you see me? Tiny little bit of the black paint, okay? We are going to dab just a little bit of it off. We need more than that then. Okay, hold on. Need a little bit more than that. Good. There we go. All right, direction matters. Now, what I'm going to do is, keep getting off camera, I'm sorry. Load up with quite a bit of paint. Try to go as straight as down as you can. This is one of those things that's like a work in progress. You're going to do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is and there is no right or wrong to any of this. So it's basically just kind of what makes you happy. Oh, shit. Ah! Okay, well, camera rod just got painted too, so. That bump is what kind of throws me. And we can come in later, and on the, like this bottom part here where things maybe aren't as solid, we can come back later after this dries the first run. We can come back and touch up some of these spots that are a little too see-through-y for me. Which I think is going to be the way to go. Versus trying to keep going over it now, because all it's doing is just moving the wet paint around. So, lesson learned on that. There we go. Now we're kind of getting a rhythm. There we go. I think probably the most important thing is trying to keep this in as straight of a line as you can. Yeah, let's get under the handle somehow. Okay, hold on. What direction are we going in here? Yeah, I definitely feel this is going to be like a two coat run here. Okay, I am actually really digging that for as wonky as that looks. I am going to do this bottom too, because I feel like it's going to look forgotten if I don't. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so it's very streaky and splotchy right now. Like you can see the glitter through it. That's not what I want on these black sections. So I am going to let this dry, which will take like 12 seconds out here in the heat. And then we're going to come back and do like another real soft, easy swooshes on some of these to really blacken those out. But I know it doesn't look like much right now, but it's going to look amazing, I promise. Once that first layer of paint has dried, you're going to go back and add a second layer onto your brush strokes. That is going to create really deep, dark paint. You're not going to be able to see your glitter through it, and it's going to create a very dramatic effect. Just take your time and go over very lightly with your paintbrush with a second coat of paint on those first brush strokes. Fix that. Oh, that's a fun fact. You can just kind of go with your finger and just kind of take some of this off. Okay. I don't know if that was, if you're technically supposed to do that, but you know how we do things here. We just kind of roll with things. Yeah, fun fact. Just take your finger through that second run of paint, and you can kind of make little, open up some of these spots. Ah, that one went totally sideways. I tell you what, that hump, man. This little Humpty Hump is a little... Okay, guys, I've waited as long as I possibly can. I think she's absolutely awesome at this point. I know she looks a little wonky right now, but I promise she's going to be amazing at the end. I am thinking that we're going to go ahead and use the tag it method. And so I have a bottle of tag it here. This is what you use to add your, like, the different foils. And since essentially this is foil 2, I'm thinking the same process should work. Normally, you add this to your cup, wherever you're going to want your foil. You blow it with the like a heat gun to heat it up, and when you do that, it becomes transparent. Once it's transparent, you take your foil and you lay it down, press it to your cup, pull up the transfer, and you're good to go. I don't know where my heat gun is, to be honest with you, so I'm going to try using a torch held way back to see if I can make that work. If not, like, I'm not trying to sizzle the tacket. If that doesn't work, then I'll find my heat gun. But let's just see if this method will work, because it's a little bit easier for me. And Okay, we're going to try it. I'm nervous. We're going to try it. It's going to be awesome. Okay. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't want too much. I don't want too little. Oops. Like I can't say how much I want or don't want. I feel like it's one of those things that I'm going to know it when I see it. Hey, it works. All right, lesson learned. And you basically just keep going over it until it's transparent. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, this is going to be a mess. Okay, hold on. We are going to make a mess. All right, so where's our thing? Right there. Again, if we don't like this, we just cover it back in black. Why can't I talk today? And just real firm rub that down. Oh, I'm digging. I'm digging it. Okay. I don't want a huge amount of this on there. I say that because you got to keep in mind, we are also going to be adding the animal print. So I think a little bit here and there is the way to go. Hit that till it's see-through. Woo! Oh, mommy likes. And then all you're going to do is continue around your cup. You're going to go ahead and add your tacket. You're going to be sure to heat it up. You're going to rub your foil wherever you think you want it. Basically, there's no right or wrong. You're just going to apply it around the cup in areas that are making you happy, as much as you want or as little as you want. Just be sure to heat up that tacket, because if you don't heat it up, nothing's going to stick. That's the secret to the tacket. Shut up. That looks so freaking pretty. Okay, so here she is. We love her. Now, what we need to do is to see if our animal print is actually going to vibe with these colors or not. So, come on. Let's see what we got. You know what? Let's just do this. Cut. Is this going to work? You know what? I think it's going to. I think it's a different tonal thing, and I think it's going to work just fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is this. We are going to take our little foil here. We are going to cut strips. We are going to add this the exact same way we added the bronze foil. Okay, same exact thing. We need to find our brush. Hold on that. Okay, so we're going to do this the exact same thing basically that we did with the bronze foil with that. All right, let's do. Although now we don't need to be nearly as careful with things. On my last nerve torch. All right. The parts of this foil that are much more patterned are what is going to be much more able to be seen. So, with that in mind, there we go. I'm okay with that. Does anybody gonna know it's leopard? Probably not. Oh, shit. Okay, so you are going to apply this exactly as you did the first round of foil. Keep in mind, if you are using these exact colors, this exact foil, it seems to really stand out best against the black paint. So apply your tack to the black paint, be sure to heat it up with your torch or your heat gun, and then pick parts of that foil that have the most pattern and apply it with a very firm hand to those black sections, and then rinse and repeat everywhere you want that pattern to show through. Keep in mind, it's very faint. You're not going to get a very strong pattern look, but you're definitely going to be able to tell that there's something there. Okay. Can you see? Can you see? It's got like this little haze of leopard. It's not crazy pronounced. It's more probably just different nuances of, you know, gold and such on the black, but oh, it's making me so happy. Super, super pretty. So we are going to, we're going to let this, you know, sit for a minute for probably no reason whatsoever. And then we're going to move it over. We're going to get it epoxied, and that's pretty much all we're doing. She's pretty much finished. So, yay. Okay, mix up approximately 40 mLs of epoxy. Go ahead and add a little bit of diamond dust. Mix that in real well so you have a little bit of sparkle. And then with a gloved hand, apply this to your entire cup. Be very mindful of your rim. You want to make sure that you are covering that handle 100%, the sides, the top, the bottom, the inside. And then when you're done, blow it out with your torch to get rid of all your micro bubbles. Taking special care around that stainless rim because you definitely don't want to see any bubbles in that area, because that is probably going to be the most obvious spot on this cup to see the bubbles. At this point, you are done. Go ahead, let her fully cure. If you need to add a second coat of epoxy to her, go ahead and do that. But at this point, she's done and she's amazing. Hey guys, what's up? Look at all the yumminess. How yummy did this turn out? This was a fun cup, but wow, did that take a strong ride at Crazy Town. I'm telling you what, this didn't turn out anything like I had envisioned in the beginning. I couldn't be happier though, because I think this came out absolutely amazing, and I couldn't have really probably thought of this if I tried. Honestly, let's be honest. Couple of things about this cup though. I mean, you really, I know I've said it before, and I know you guys embrace it, you know, a lot of you embrace it the way I do. Sometimes you just got to roll with it and kind of go where the cup tells you it wants to go. It's kind of like herding dogs or cats, or imagine children. You know, sometimes you just got to be like, yeah, this is where we're going. Okie dokie, I'm here for the ride. I am 100% here for it. So this cup was a lot of fun. You know, when I first kind of, what was I doing originally? I don't even remember what my original idea was. And then, yeah, like all of a sudden in the middle of, you know, in the middle of standing in my backyard waiting to get hacked up by a serial killer, I'm like, oh, we should do this. Oh, we could do that. Like, oh, butterfly, you know? And we're like, that's where we're going with it. Here we are. This was a cup that I was very nervous that it would end up too dark. I knew what I wanted. It's one of those things where you have an abstract idea of how you want things to turn out, but you don't really have a concrete idea. You know, there are some cups that you're like, I know I'm going to put this here, this here, this here. We're going to do this, we're going to do this. And you follow that map and it comes out amazing. And, you know, it's exactly everything you envisioned. And then there's cups where you're like, I don't really have like the full idea, but I have like a vague sense of what I want it to look like. And I was very afraid that this cup was going to come out too dark, and I didn't really know how to brighten it up. And I got to be honest, adding that copper foil on there, shazam, that was it. That was exactly what this cup needed. And it took the cup in a completely different direction, and I am 100% okay with that. You know, when it came to glittering, okay, let's start here. I said in the beginning of life, I was not a fan of the big, huge Stanley style cups. I was like, I don't want to do them. I don't want to offer them in my store. You know, they got handles. They're ginormous. I'm not going that way. I don't even think I'm going to like that. Like, I wouldn't even like drinking out of that. Wouldn't even like drinking out of that. Yeah, right. I'm converted. I am. I totally dig them. They are extremely easy to work on. The handle is big and thick and, you know, very easy to work with, and it's very easy to hold. And I'm a converted member of Team Stanley style. I think that if you've never done one before, and if you're like me and you're like, no, not going to jumping on that crazy train, we're not going to do it, you know, maybe consider trying one and see. That was honestly all I did, is I was like, you know, I'll try one. Probably not going to like it, but maybe I'll just do one. Now I'm like, everything should be a Stanley style. Now, do I carry real Stanleys? Heck no. I'm not trusting myself with a cup that expensive. It's the same reason why I don't do real Yetis. Heck no. Me, 4 dogs? No, we're not gonna do that to myself. You know, when it came to glittering this, I did not want it to get too dark. I did not want it to be all blaringly gold either. And I think using the different shades of the brown really, really help. They really make this cup. I honestly believe that, because you can see that transition, you know, from gold to the Hamilton to the cold brew. So you have that ombre colors underneath, and the paint strokes, you know, I was a little bit nervous because I've never done a paintbrush cup like this. I have done the paintbrush cup where you just, you know, mush, you know, paint. You got something in the middle. This was a much more orchestrated event, in my opinion. Now, my tips, obviously, you saw for that is this. You know, with the black paint especially, I did not want that glitter to come through, because you're putting just like one swipe of black paint on a cup, and you're going to be able to see that glitter through it. And I was like, that's not the look we're trying to go for. Letting it dry, adding a second little brush stroke over that made all the difference in the world. So definitely, if you're trying this and you're going with that brush stroke, and the first pass, you're like, no, that's not what it's supposed to look like. Let it dry, do another brush stroke right on top, and it will absolutely cover that, you know, cover that glitter. I have to be perfectly honest. Let me see. Did I cover it up somewhere? Probably. No, there's one right there. Like, there's one. My favorite thing I learned doing this was when you go back through and you're doing a second run of your paint on your brush strokes, right? Not when it's wet, when it's just starting to dry, you know, and as I've mentioned repeatedly, how freaking hot it is in my garage right now. When it doesn't take very long for the paint to dry right now, especially this time of year, when it's not quite dry, but it's getting there. You take your finger and you just kind of like dig through it. Oh, it makes a delightful little, you know, a delightful little thing. Like right there. Okay, right there. It's one of those things that's just very aesthetically pleasing, and it's satisfying. Because you make like a little valley, and you're just breaking up that paint. So it's giving it more personality, more definition, you know, more interest. My favorite, like for that one right there, just that's all I did. And like, that's like my favorite little part of this whole freaking cup. It just, you know, it gives it, so it's not just all very linear, like, or I guess it still kind of is, but it's a little more organic. Okay. So you can kind of make it as thick or as deep or as straight or as, you know, as you want. And honestly, that was my favorite thing to learn doing this cup, that you can do that. You don't have to just go with where that brush stroke is. You know, you can kind of make your own little divots and designs in there. And I kind of really like that. Let's talk about that foil though. Okay. Adding that copper foil is it. That's life. That copper foil is life 100%. That was honestly the best thing I could have ever decided to add to this cup. And I really struggled with it, because up to that point, I was like, I'm just so afraid this is just going to be so dark. It's not going to have that wow factor. And I never envisioned anything like this. I honestly didn't. This isn't what I set out to do. But adding that foil, and honestly, I think that if I had gold foil and I added gold foil instead, I wouldn't have liked it as well as I do with the copper on. See, that right there. That's why I don't have expensive Stanleys. Because that's what happens when I have expensive things. That's why I can't have nice things. Okay. So just that is exactly why I don't do them. because I will bang them everywhere. But yeah, the copper foil to me is honestly the game changer on this cup. And the tack it method, you know, you use the tack it. As you see, I kept forgetting to heat it up. And if you don't heat it up, it really doesn't do anything. So the magic of the tack it method is you gotta heat it up. I was surprised that the torch worked and didn't, you know, scorch it or set it on fire. It, as long as you go, you know, you're back a bit and you're going real quick and easy with it, you know, the torch works just fine. In the past, I've always used a heat gun. I didn't know where it was in the garage. So I was like, well, let's just see if this works, you know, and it worked just fine. So if you don't have a heat gun and you only have a torch, you can totally make this happen. Okay. If you have a heat gun and you feel more comfortable using it, obviously feel free. From personal experience, I will tell you, you can scorch and singe your tacket with a heat gun too. So, you know, be careful out there, kids. The foil part, those little foil things, and I think the reason why I never used that foil to begin with is because, you know, when I was, okay, in a land far, far away, back when I was in high school, I was an art major, okay? I went to art college. I used foils all the time, and way back then, you know, they came in just like little, like 8x8, or actually, what are that? Probably 6x6 sheets, you know, just flat sheets. And you had to, you know, you were like somebody diffusing a bomb. Like you just carefully applied them to your thing. Like it was very, because they rip like that. Like they're literally nothing. So when I somehow, some reason ordered what I did, and here it is, they're all curled up in little balls almost in that container. And I was just like, yeah, that's not what I know. I don't know how to work with that. I don't know what to do with that. So they've literally just been sitting here for years now. So I'm glad that I did think of them. You know, obviously there's nothing scary about a ball of foil, you know, and sometimes you just kind of have to jump into what you're not used to or what's different and just be like, ah, let's go see what happens. I'm glad I did. I'm really, really glad I did. Very easy to work with. If you do decide to go this method, and they do still sell the foil sheets, it's really no different. The foil ball things or the foil sheets, you're fine either way. The after adding all of that, and I you know, when I was doing that too, I kept saying the whole time up to that point, it's like, I don't want it too dark. I don't want it too dark. And with adding this, I'm like, I don't want it too light. I still want it dark. And I was like, I'm just going to add a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, well, we see how well that plan worked out. You know, sometimes you just kind of have to roll with it. Sometimes your ideas, you know, evolve, and I guess that's okay. You know, the evolution of an idea is absolutely okay. After I did the epoxy on that coat, and then I went in, and my main concern was whether or not the animal print foil was going to vibe with that copper. Because I knew that my animal print was, you know, marginally abstract, very gold, you know, which is why I didn't want to do gold on this cup, like I said, the foil and whatnot, because I was like, you know, it's going to just be too much gold. And that's not what I was trying to do. I was very concerned that it was going to be too transparent. And before we used the foil and went this direction, the whole time I was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, well, I wonder if I do like white paint, will it stand out more? If I do like a gold paint and put it on that, would it stand out more? Because I was very concerned that against the black paint just wasn't going to show. And honestly, it kind of does. It does, but it doesn't. Like, where's my camera? Come on, focus. Where are we at? Focus. There we are. So like you can see right here, like it makes... Like, I know it's leopard. Would anybody else know it's leopard? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Where are we at? There we go. A little bit. Like, you can see where it definitely, if it doesn't scream leopard, it screams a difference in pattern. It screams, you know, it's not just black. It shows that there's something going on there. Whether it's just a textural, you know, difference, or, you know, it appears this way or that. Like, I know it's leopard. Does anybody else know it's leopard? Maybe, maybe not. So you can kind of tell it is in some areas, but honestly, to me, it just adds, it adds that next layer of interest. It adds that next layer of design. It may not look directly, obviously, like leopard print, unless you're really looking at it and you're a leopard girl like me. But honestly, I believe that it adds so much to the cup, because now we're not just black, copper, black, copper, black, copper. You know, now it's like, what is that? And I really do dig cups that where they do have some kind of an aesthetic where you're just kind of like, what is that? Like, what did you do? Like, what? I'm confused. Teach me, Obi-Wan, teach me. So I really do dig that part of it. And honestly, that's like pretty much all I have to say about this cup. This cup went really, for as indecisive as the decision tree was, it went very easy. You know what I mean? There's really nothing all that complex or all that hard with any part of this. You know, take your time, have fun with it. You know, as with most things, when it comes to tumblers, if you don't like something, you can usually back out of it. You know, if you decide to brush stroke and your brush stroke is not on point, this is my first time. Look at this little section of the handle. What the hell's happening here? My first time, whatever. You know, if you mess something up, you can take that off. You can acetone that paint off. You can, you know, obviously before you epoxy, you can just kind of scratch it off. The only thing I would make mention, and the thing that I didn't realize until it was too late, when we started doing the brush strokes, I had the rim taped at some point, right there. At some point, somehow, I don't know how, I got a little bit of tape on that rim. That made me sad. Of course, I only realized that after I was epoxying it. So I'm not overly concerned about it, but obviously if you were doing this kind of style, something like this for a customer, you definitely want to make sure to check that rim before you, you know, before you would do that final run of epoxy. Okay. Other than that, I want to say something real quick. Okay. You guys are the very best part of my week. All right. And I'm not just saying that. You guys have done, ever since I started this channel, when I thought about starting this channel, the whole thing I could think of is nobody's going to watch me. Nobody's going to like me. I'm an absolute gutter mouth train wreck. Okay. I'm always a mess. My garage is an absolute dumpster fire. I'm a dumpster fire. Nobody's going to watch me or you know, I'm not going to have anything to say, and, you know, my cups suck, and you know what I mean? Like the whole litany of don't do this. And ever since I started this channel, you guys have absolutely been nothing but supportive and loving and funny. And you guys are the best part of my week, and your comments crack me up because you're like, girl. And I appreciate that. And this never has ever felt like a job, because this is technically job number 3. Okay. This has never felt like a job. And you guys are there for me every week. Even if I make mistakes, even if I'm, you know, if I'm having a bad week, you guys always like send messages of support. You know, you guys, I feel like we're just all of us are out in my dirty little garage, and we got a glass of wine, and we're just family and friends doing glitter tumblers. That's what this channel feels like. And even when there's someday going to come a time where I'm not doing custom tumblers anymore, like taking orders, I will always be doing this channel, because this channel honestly is my happy place. And I say all of that to say thank you, because number one, thank you for all of that. But also you guys have given me the confidence to do something that I've been putting off for years. I don't know if I've mentioned it like before or not, you know, because Heather rambles quite a bit about all sorts of things. Before I started doing tumblers, I quit my cubicle job. All right. From, you know, corporate medical. I ran a food blog. My food blog is called A Wicked Whisk. I've done it for years. I think we're almost at 10 years. And at one point it had grown so much, and it was making the same income as my little cubicle job. I quit my cubicle job, and literally the next day the pandemic started. When the pandemic started, everybody was home. The world was ending. We had stimulus checks. Tumblers took off. So, you know, I was a full-time food blogger for like 2 days, and then the tumbler business just exploded. So the food blog you know, it ran without me for about 4 years. It just did its thing, got its traffic, made its money. I didn't touch it. But that's also my happy place. So for the past 9 months or so, I've been trying to get back into that. So I'm juggling Tumblers, food blog, Tumblers, food blog, Tumblers, food blog, YouTube channel. So after all this time, I am now, because you guys have been so awesome to me, and this is going on way much longer than I thought it would, I'm sorry. You guys have been so supportive of me that you're giving me the confidence to go and do the YouTube for the food blog too. So in the last part of the video from yesterday, you know, here I am, garage troll, and then the last bit, here I am, I'm all, I got the makeup and the hair and all that. I did my very first food blog video yesterday. I don't know how good or how bad it is. I haven't edited it out yet, so I'm very terrified because I really was. This comes very naturally, you know what I mean? Because I'm a dumpster fire and it works. I don't think that translates into a food blog video, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm going to post my very first video, hopefully this weekend, maybe today. I don't know. We'll see how fast I can edit it out, how horrible it is. So if you're food inclined, you want to see exactly how bad I can do food. It's a wicked whisk. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you because yeah, without your support, I can guarantee, I started that channel years ago. It's been sitting there, I think, with 3 really, really bad videos from like 7 years ago. And it would have just continued to sit there if you guys weren't as kind to me as you've been. So thank you. All that rambling, I am done. Like I said in the beginning, fun cup, easy cup, run with it, go for it, change your colors, have a blast. Sometimes you got to let the ideas evolve, and you're going to end up with something absolutely beautiful. That pretty much wraps this all up. Again, I say thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.